I can't believe it's been 6 months, but 6 months ago, I've decided to leave Airbnb to pursue entrepreneurship. It's been an incredible 4 years through which I've got an opportunity to start as a software engineer and end up a product manager, had a ton of amazing learning opportunities, career opportunities at the company, and most and foremost, I've met incredible people. However, my personal dream has always been to become an entrepreneur, to run my own business or ideally businesses, and that's why 6 months ago, I've decided to embark on an entrepreneurial journey. A lot has happened since then, and in this video, I'm hoping to share some lessons that I've learned in my journey transitioning from an employee to an entrepreneur. If you're about to leave your job or just curious how my journey has been going, then this video is for you. Hi everyone, welcome back to this channel. If you're new here, consider subscribing. So let's just get down to the learnings. First and foremost, it's the mindset of an employee versus an entrepreneur. A lot of Silicon Valley companies, especially Airbnb, are teaching their employees ownership and mentality. And they're not even teaching employees, it's distilled in the culture, it's distilled in the interview process. Basically, you want to be an entrepreneur within a corporate unit. And this was one of my first learning. Working for someone requires a completely different mindset. Despite the fact that you can be a complete owner and completely in control of what's going on in your role, when you're actually on your own, when you're not working at a 9-to-5 job, you are truly the only person to motivate yourself to do stuff that you want to do. And there is a really great infographic that my coach shared that kind of describes this owner mentality versus like an employee mentality that I wanted to share with you. As you can tell from this infographic, I'm just gonna read it out. So the employee mentality, or like the non-owner, non-entrepreneur mentality, is kind of like wishy, hopeful. They focus more about problems, difficulties and setbacks. Life is a survival game, just get through it. It's like causation and effect type of situation, automatic reactions from past opinions, trying to predict the future, etc. Whereas entrepreneur mentality is more about what is my commitment, what is my responsibility, what can I contribute? Lives in the stand of life works, promises dictate action, etc. Basically, you got it. And you know, despite the fact you might already be kind of in that mentality, you still have to coach yourself through completely getting into the entrepreneur mindset. And as Jocko Willink said, who is a very famous US Navy SEAL and the author of Extreme Ownership: How US Navy SEALs Lead and Win, he said, leaders must own everything in their world. There is no one else to blame. So that was my first, and I'd say one of the most important learnings. And that leads me to my second learning, is that no one can really give you or tell you a thing that you should be focusing on. If you are on your own, you are the person who's gonna tell you what is it exactly that you need to focus on. And my personal reality was this. Before leaving Airbnb, I kind of had ideas for what I want to explore. YouTube was actually one of the ideas, but I didn't actually have a specific plan for what is it that I'm going to be focusing on. And I totally acknowledge the privilege that I have, because not everyone can afford literally leaving their job without an exact plan. So I just happened to be in a privileged situation to do so. Once I left the company, I've suddenly had a lot more time on my hands. And that, you know, first like couple of weeks, I was like, oh my God, you know, I'm just gonna like do whatever I feel like doing, kind of test out the hypotheses. So, you know, it took me some time to self-organize and gain that clarity and set those goals, but that was one of the other learnings that I've had throughout this period of time. If you're enjoying this video, I would really appreciate it if you considered liking this video or subscribing to this channel. As a creator that is restarting my YouTube journey with new gained clarity around wanting to be a full-on YouTube creator, I would really appreciate it. It means a lot. And of course, very smoothly, it leads me to the point of prioritization. Before I left Airbnb, I started working on this pay-per-view live streaming platform that we ended up applying to YC for. But then outside of that, you know, once I quickly figured out that that was not the company that I wanted to run, thankfully, I was able to acknowledge that quickly and move on. I made a supplement product. I also worked on a coding school with a couple of friends. I've continued YouTube and just started, you know, rethinking what my goals with it are. are before leaving Airbnb, I've started my outsourcing recruiting company where we help startups hire Eastern European engineers. I've had like 1,000 different things going on. And honestly, I was kind of convinced that, hey, I can do it all. I can allocate certain portions of time to this project, to that project, and I can figure it out. But the reality is that prioritization is key. And it took me a few months to kind of gain that clarity and narrow my focus down, because we have a limited time on our hands, and if you truly focus on something, then you will achieve true, real, good results. And so this made me realize what my real priorities are over the course of this time. I've realized that I love social media and I love building my personal brand, and a lot of the people that I look up to are people who've built amazing personal brands and then built multiple vertical businesses that stem out of this personal brand. And I've had a complicated relationship with my YouTube business or YouTube channel, but I finally gained this clarity and I'm so grateful for it. I've also realized how important it is to invest time into meeting like-minded people. I have some friends who have been on the same journey and path as myself, and it's just been so refreshing and incredible to share the same struggles, to share the same joys, to kind of just go through the same experience together. That actually also helped me gain this clarity that I just shared with you. So definitely surround yourself with like-minded people with similar set of values, because that emotional support is just incomparable to anything else. Another realization that I've had, and it's going to be relevant to you even if you're working a full-time job, is the importance of creating multiple income streams. Imagine a tree has a root system to nurture itself, and we as people are taught that having and relying on one main income stream is how we should live our lives. And this pandemic has just been such an eye-opening experience to this idea. There has been so many people across the world who have lost their livelihood because they have been laid off, they have completely lost that one source of income that they have been relying on. And it's just ridiculous to think that this is what the society is instilling in us, that we should rely on this one job as our life source. And having more time to really think about it, to explore the internet, to talk to friends, I've just realized how important it is to create multiple sources of income so that no matter what, you are just secure in whatever you have. And if one business goes down, if one income stream goes down, you know that you have other ones to nourish yourself or nourish your family. Another important realization is about taxes. And if you are not very well educated on taxes, then one, you should educate yourself, or two, you should ideally educate yourself and hire a professional. There's so many things that you can deduct, there's so many things that you can expense. I don't know, it's just like a completely different ball game of running a business and dealing with taxes. And you're potentially, especially when you're making money, once you're making money, you're gonna be leaving thousands of dollars on the table if you're just ignorant about the tax system. You are not okay with not knowing how much money is gonna come into your pocket on month-to-month basis, then maybe you should stay in 9 to 5 and get a secure and stable check. Because as someone who runs their own business, is on their own, you're likely not gonna have that predictability in how much money you're gonna be making month to month. So something that I have learned is just being okay with that state of not knowing how much money you're gonna make a month, if you're not gonna make anything. And I'm still in a position where I'm just kind of, running my business and pretty much breaking even. And so that is something that you just gotta be okay with. On the point of taxes, you should also understand that if you want to, say, make 100K a year, if you're a business owner, you have to multiply that amount by 1.5 or 2x, because there's business expenses, there is team that you have to pay, there is taxes involved. So you just have to kind of think on a completely different multiplier. So now whenever I think about, revenue and think about what my goals are, I just always have to keep that in mind, because again, it's just a very different mindset from getting a check from an employer to running your own thing, because you're responsible for all the books, responsible for making sure that everything's calculated correctly and that you are in the know, like of what you need to do to make the money that you actually want to pocket after all of these expenses and taxes. And I guess last but not least, you know, because you're your own boss, it's kind of easy to lose sight of what your priorities and goals are. Similar to the point about prioritization and goal setting, review your goals often, have people that keep yourself accountable, share your visions out with the world. You'd be surprised how much, I guess, the universe, to be woo-woo, or your friends or like people that you meet can help you unexpectedly if you just tell them where you want to be in, let's say, 5 or 10 years from now, what your goal or what your big vision is. You'd be surprised. Just constantly reminding yourself, or where is it that you want to be, is really helpful and valuable as a business owner. But yeah, it's been a wild ride. I'm super excited for what's next. I'm actually extremely happy and rejuvenated that I've decided to make the decision to leave my job, despite the fact that I had a fantastic job. But I just feel like a flow of new energy, a flow of new creativity. I feel just like happier day to day, and I'm so excited for what's to come. And I'm so happy that you guys are on this journey with me, and I'd love to share more updates with you, and I will be sharing more updates with you of how things are going and what am I thinking, and just be like more transparent about what's going on and be more personable. But for now, you know, I'd love to hear what you're thinking. Leave your comments in the comment section down below. If you're new here, subscribe to this channel and like this video if you could. I'd really appreciate it. But for now, I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.